Hey YouTube, this is Southern Prepper 1. Welcome to Boots on the Ground. You probably can hear some rain in the background. It's raining very heavily here. It's a storm that's moving up the East Coast. Right now, we're having heavy rains and flooding. They project that we'll have a month's worth of rain in 12 hours. Uh, Within a few hours, we should be getting the wind, 25 to 35-mile-an-hour winds with maybe possible 60-mile-an-hour gusts. So we will probably lose power, so I'm trying to get this done. But let's get right into boots on the ground. The Swedish civil defense minister said that Sweden should prepare for war. The citizens need to prepare for a conflict, and they laid out some things to do. And basically, it's just prepping things, things that we do as preppers. Um, Last week, remember, I reported that the commander of the Dutch army called on the Netherlands for them to get ready as a country and also for their citizens to prepare. And this would be the threat from Russia. The craziest story is Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin being hospitalized without really reporting up to the President of the United States. Um, any private in the military knows that if you're not going to be able to do your job or at your duty station, you inform your supervisor as soon as possible. This is beat into everyone's head in the military, accountability. Uh, but he went into the hospital on December 22nd for an elective procedure, which he did not say what. On January 1st, he was not feeling good. He was in severe pain. When someone says they're in severe pain, the chances of getting some type of pain medication is probably going to happen. So he went to the hospital, and this was probably complications from this surgery or the procedure that he had. For a few days, he really failed to notify anyone. He did finally, on January 2nd, gave some of his authority up to his deputy secretary of defense. But it was a few more days, actually, until it was reported publicly. So there was a big period of time when he possibly could not do his job. Um, this should result in his resignation. President Biden said he wouldn't accept it. He would stand by him. Just shows you, is he really the Secretary of Defense reporting to Biden? Is Biden in charge? Or did the Secretary of Defense report to who really is pulling the strings behind the curtain? The 3M company is announcing that they're freezing some of their pension plans for non-union employees. And this is definitely a way to save money. They're saying they're going to go with a 401k plan, giving the employees more flexibility and control. It's also not going to be as good as what 3M was providing their workers. They also, I think a week or two ago, announced that they're eliminating 6,000 positions. So they definitely, 3M is seeing a slowdown in the economy, and this would be also a worldwide economy. People that own office space or office work areas, they are definitely feeling the pinch. The vacancy rate at the last quarter was almost 20%, 19.6%. And we have not seen that high. We did see 19.3% back in 1986 and 1991. AARP, and that would be the American Association of Retired Persons. I think if you're 50 or older, you can join that. But they're asking 38 million members to get their 8th shot. This would include all their boosters and their original 2. So they're asking you to make sure you get your COVID shot. The FedEx founder, I think his name's Fred Smith, he is definitely worried about the $34 trillion national debt and the way it's going to affect the dollar. I preach on this every day that this is going to be probably the downfall of America is our debt. Tiger Woods, he has been a fan of Nike for 27 years. He's been wearing Nikes and supporting the company. They report that he's probably made $500 to $660 million off of this one endorsement. But it looks like they're parting ways. But I think he'll be okay. Hopefully he saved some of those millions of dollars. I reported a few days ago about FedEx Air that they're going to have to lay off a bunch of pilots. And it looks like the reason they're going to have to do that is because the Postal Service is going to be cutting back on some of their needs for their planes. So I guess they have a contract that FedEx Express or the air service helps fly some of the postal packages, and they're going to not need their services as much. So that is why they're going to have to be cutting back. The Federal Aviation has grounded the 170 Boeing's 737 MAX 9s. And this is definitely because of the window that came out or door. It is actually a doorway that could be put in, but if you do not order it as a door, they'll put the window in there. And this has come out. So they're definitely checking the entire fleet. This has definitely hurt Alaska Airlines and United Airlines. They've had to cancel hundreds of flights because their planes are grounded. Bankrate. It's a company that has said that nearly half of the credit card holders, almost 50%, are carrying credit card debt from month to month. And this is a huge increase. It was 39% of people carrying debt from month to month. This is definitely a problem. A lot of people are saying that they're using their credit cards to pay for just regular bills, medical bills, food. So definitely people are feeling the pinch of higher inflation. The jobs numbers. The government is really quick to point out, oh, we're creating all these jobs. But when you look at the jobs and you go back and look at all the revisions they did, it looks like they revised the whole year of 2023 down 439,000 jobs that they said we created were really not created. So they're fixing that number. And if you look at the numbers really carefully, you will notice that government sector is growing. It created, I think, 52,000 jobs in the final month of 2023 in December. And really, we're not looking at that number. We're looking at the manufacturing number. The manufacturing number keeps going down. And if we're a country to grow economically and to create great jobs, it's going to be on the back of manufacturing. It's not going to be on the back of service. It's not going to be on the back of government, and really not on the back of medical. Medical is growing, but most of the money that services the medical really comes from the government. They spend a lot of money paying medical bills for Medicare, Medicaid. You might have noticed the Texas Hotel in Fort Worth. It's a very historical hotel. Had an explosion and injured 21 people. Some of these people are very serious. So hopefully we'll have no deaths and they can heal quickly. The Ukrainian government is looking at possibly making some banking restrictions on people who have left the country, who have invaded military services. They're so short manpower that they're trying to do anything to do that. And that's another reason why you need to keep some of your money, yes, in the bank to pay your daily bills, but to make sure you have an emergency fund outside of the control of any government. The Ukrainian military also announced that they are purchasing 50,000 sets of women uniform. And this is probably because they're very short-handed and they're trying to raise 500,000 men, or some of these will be women. That's what they're trying to do so they can counter the Russians. They did say, though, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces in Ukraine, that these people will be given 80 days of training. 80 days of training. Now, picture this. You're going against the Russians that have a lot more manpower, that have been on the front lines, that are highly trained, and they have experience. There's nothing like experience in war. So these new recruits, 80 days of training, will be going against guys that have been on the front for a while. Ukraine has also having a problem with generation of power because some of their infrastructure is being destroyed, and I see it will be continually be destroyed. They're trying to cripple the Ukrainian people, and maybe through this they can have a peace. But the national grid operators have said because of the extreme cold, they're having a problem generating enough power, and they've asked all of Ukraine to conserve electricity. There was a man who came across the border, and he's been here for a while, but he's been caught, I guess, 4 times and sent back or just released back into it. But he was, well, actually, he was deported 4 times. But this gentleman from El Salvador caused a crash, crashed his vehicle, and killed 2 people, a 47-year-old mother and a 16-year-old son. And this happened on December 12th. according to the police department in the area. Um, he's also had many convictions in Colorado and Boulder County Court for alcohol-related driving offenses. He's been here a while because these have occurred between 2007 and 2019. And every time he gets caught, he's just released or he's given community service or some type of probation. Before he killed these two people, he was released 4 days before his last allegations. So this blood of these precious people are definitely on those that support open borders. There is a Chinese national that has purchased a huge amount of property inside the United States. And this would be Timberland. He is considered the 82nd largest property owner. It is 198,000 acres, and he is a Chinese. The United States government needs to really try to control these large purchases of land by foreigners. It doesn't matter who they are. Property inside the United States is really considered value to our strategic defense. And when large parts of our property is taken out, like this piece, is very, very important, especially the farmland. There's massive amounts of farmland that is being purchased by foreign countries. They're farming this land, but really the produce and the products, the animals, the meat is being sent overseas. It's not benefiting the United States. And if we go into a war, World War III, or any type of trade disagreement with any other country, this could cause us problems inside the United States. German truckers and German farmers have united in protest over a tax bill involving diesel, and hopefully they have gotten a few concessions, but not enough. Hopefully they can change the minds of these German leaders that are just crippling transportation. They're crippling the farmers. The Park Service, and this is in Pennsylvania, wants to remove the William Penn statue. They want to make the area more welcome and inclusive. I think they want to include some Native American statues here. So they're looking for comments to rehabilitate welcome parks in the Old City section of Pennsylvania by moving the statue of William Penn. If you don't know anything about William Penn, I think founded the Providence of Pennsylvania. So he's a pretty important person in Pennsylvania. But they want to remove it. Like all statues that do not go along with their political correctness, they want to remove. So if you're in the Pennsylvania area, look into this. Maybe voice your concern to your representatives. So there you go, some boots on the ground. Pray for the storm that's passing over me, and it's already passed over some parts of the country. And be safe. Thanks for watching.